You are playing a financial game where the rules were mathematically designed for you to lose. You did everything society asked of you. You earned the degree, you secured the salary, you sacrificed the luxuries and automated your savings. But every single month, the gap between what your labor produces and what your life costs expands, and you can feel it. Welcome to Zelvanta. Today, we are tearing down the illusion of modern wealth. We are not going to tell you to skip your morning coffee or cancel your streaming subscriptions. We are going to expose the deep structural architecture of why earning a salary in 2026 is a mathematical trap, and how the financial elite use an entirely different mechanism to accumulate capital. Let us look at the irrefutable data. Over the past decade, median household incomes in robust markets like Virginia grew by roughly 9%. During that exact same period, median home prices surged by 23%. In 2012, a median home cost roughly 3.8 times the median household income. Today, that multiplier has broken 4.3. In specific suburban corridors, median list prices have eclipsed $800,000, yet homes still go under contract in under 15 days. You are told that the economy is resilient because nominal wages are growing at roughly 3.5%, but purchasing power is collapsing. In early 2026, the American Council of Life Insurers released their Financial Resilience Index. The data was staggering. Despite higher wages, 42% of middle-class households lack the confidence to cover a mere $5,000 unexpected expense. Only half of all households are even able to consistently put money into a savings account. The middle class is running on a treadmill that is tilting steeper by the day, and the reason for this exhaustion has a name. In the 1730s, an economist named Richard Cantillon observed a mechanical reality about money that remains the most guarded secret in modern finance. He realized that when new money enters an economy, or when a massive supply shock occurs, the impact does not distribute evenly. Capital flows first to the institutions, the corporations, and the asset holders. They get to position this money before prices rise. By the time that capital trickles down to the wage earner, inflation has already occurred. The people at the bottom do not receive the wealth. They only absorb the inflation. This is known as the Cantillon Effect. In 2026, this effect is being hyper-accelerated by global crises. Following the outbreak of conflict in the Middle East, the Strait of Hormuz, the transit route for 20% of global oil consumption, effectively closed. Brent crude oil surged past $100 a barrel. For the middle class, this is a crisis. Higher energy costs act as a regressive tax, destroying your disposable income. The International Monetary Fund immediately downgraded global growth to 3.1%, warning of an unprecedented global energy crisis that could push inflation beyond 5%. But for the wealthy, it is a wealth transfer mechanism. Asset owners hold the commodities, the energy equities, and the real estate that appreciate precisely because of the inflation. The system is designed so that global shocks inflate the portfolios of the rich while bankrupting the checking accounts of the working class. If you hold cash, you are standing still while the ground beneath you collapses. To pacify the public, governments deploy fiscal illusions. In July 2025, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, or OBBBA, was signed into law. Politicians celebrated the elimination of taxes on overtime and tips and the slight inflation adjustments to the 10 and 12% tax brackets. It feels like a victory, but it is a psychological trap. Giving a wage earner a slight tax break in a high-inflation, low-growth economy simply provides them with more cash to spend on increasingly expensive basic needs. It subsidizes consumption, not wealth creation. Furthermore, the same legislation introduced the 237 rule, capping the value of itemized deductions for high earners and proving that traditional income strategies have a hard ceiling. The wealthy do not care about marginal income tax brackets because the wealthy do not build net worth through W-2 income. They build it through asset accumulation. This is the structural divide. The middle class follows the default path. Earn a salary, pay your taxes, pay your living expenses, and attempt to save the tiny fraction left over. The financial elite flip the architecture. They acquire assets first. They allow those assets to generate passive cash flow, and they use that cash flow to fund their lifestyle. They never trade their time for consumption. They trade capital to acquire systems that print capital. Let us make this concrete. Meet Alex and Jordan. They are the same age, 25 years old in the year 2006. Same city, same job, same starting salary. Everything is equal. The only thing that differs is the architectural flow of their money. Alex does what most people do: pays rent, pays bills, buys a car with a loan, spends on lifestyle, and saves whatever is left at the end of the month, which most months is not much. Alex is not irresponsible. Alex is just following the default system: earn, spend, save the remainder. Jordan does something slightly different. Before paying a single bill, before touching a dollar for lifestyle expenses, Jordan automatically routes 15% of every paycheck into a simple S&P 500 index fund. This happens the day the paycheck arrives, automatically, with no decision required. Then, Jordan lives on what remains. Not dramatically less than Alex, not a life of deprivation, just slightly tighter in the short run. By 2026, 20 years later, Alex has worked hard, earned well, and saved diligently into a low-interest account. Total accumulated savings, perhaps $40,000. Net worth is constrained because of persistent lifestyle inflation and no meaningful asset appreciation. Jordan's index fund portfolio, at a consistent historical return with steady contributions over 20 years, Jordan has accumulated nearly $500,000. And importantly, that money is now generating its own returns. Jordan's portfolio earns more each year in passive market returns than Jordan contributes from their salary. Same starting line, same salaries, same city, different system. The difference was not income. It was not intelligence. It was the direction of money flow. One person rented their labor to accumulate money. The other used money to accumulate assets that then worked on their behalf. Understanding the theory of why assets win is one thing, but the hardest part of this for most people is not the concept. It is the execution. Specifically, how do you actually build a system that routes your money into assets before your lifestyle consumes it? What percentage goes where? Which accounts to use to bypass the 2026 tax traps? How do you automate it so it requires absolutely no willpower? In the Patreon version of this video, available right now to Zelvanta members, we go through the complete capital allocation flow system, step by step. We build the 3-account architecture, detail the specific percentage allocations based on your exact income level, and show you how to exploit the new OBBBA tax loopholes. Most importantly, you gain access to the downloadable capital allocation framework, a spreadsheet you can plug your income into today to mathematically engineer your escape. The link is in the description below. But before you leave, there is one more piece of this you need to understand, because millions of people here buy assets and immediately make the single most expensive mistake in personal finance. They confuse a liability for an investment. The most quoted line in personal finance is simple: an asset puts money in your pocket, a liability takes money out. It sounds obvious, but the application is where people consistently go wrong. Cars. Almost all cars are liabilities. They depreciate the moment you drive off the lot. The loan charges you interest. The insurance, maintenance, and $4 a gallon fuel are ongoing cash outflows. It generates zero income. It is a liability that society has collectively agreed to call a normal part of life. Primary residences are more complicated. If you own your home and it appreciates, you do build equity. But the home you live in requires a massive mortgage, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. It generates no cash flow. You cannot live in it and rent it simultaneously. A primary residence is a hybrid, part forced savings vehicle, part lifestyle expense, not a pure asset. A rental property, a dividend-paying stock portfolio, or a scalable business, on the other hand, generates income. Cash flows toward the owner regardless of their daily labor. That is a true financial asset by the strictest definition. The wealthy understand this distinction intuitively. They acquire things that work for them. The middle class acquires things they have to work for. This is why you can earn a 6-figure salary and still feel completely broke. Your money is flowing into the wrong category of things. Here is the honest summary of everything in this video. The financial system does not reward earning. It rewards owning. Money printing and supply shocks, by their structural nature, flow to asset owners first and wage earners last. The gap between home prices and incomes is not a coincidence. It is the predictable mathematical output of a system that runs exactly as designed. The exit from that trap is structural, not behavioral. It is not about discipline or sacrifice. It is about building a system that automatically places your money on the right side of the equation before your lifestyle can consume it, separating true assets from liabilities that pretend to be assets, and understanding that time is the only resource that cannot be recovered. Every month, the system runs without you. The compounding gap widens. The Patreon version of this video builds the system. The Capital Allocation Flow, complete with specific percentages, account structures, OBBBA tax strategies, and the downloadable framework. If you are serious about getting on the right side of this equation, the link is in the description. Subscribe for more structural financial truths. We will see you in the next video.